A week or so before my 10th birthday, I walked to the corner store with a $5 bill to pick up a jar of ragu for my mom. On the way home, a man I'd never seen before fell in step with me and began talking. "Hi," he said cheerfully. "My name is Dr. Ramsey. I'm a pediatrician. Do you know what a pediatrician is?" I walked silently, not replying and hoping that he would take this as a sign that he should leave me alone. Subtitles were not his strong suit though, because he kept right on chattering. "Are your parents looking for a pediatrician for you? Of course, you're almost a big girl now. You'll be needing a different type of doctor soon, won't you? That's okay though. They can still bring you to me until then. What's your name? You have beautiful hair. I was just on my way to get more suckers for the candy jar in my office. Do you like suckers?" Thankfully, we were nearing my house, so I ran forward, up the steps and in through the kitchen door. I didn't know back then, but this was the beginning of a very long, very scary ordeal. It didn't take long after that for Dr. Ramsey to start showing up. At first, it seemed benign enough, at least to a kid. He would drive by nearly every day, smiling and waving. I told my mom, who said maybe he was on his way home from work. But then, the phone calls began. My dad called me into the living room and sat me down. He asked me about the day Dr. Ramsey followed me home, and if I talked to him. He said I wasn't in trouble, but I needed to tell him the truth. I told him no, and he asked me if I was sure, and if I was forgetting something. I told him no again, and he frowned, then asked, "Then how does he know your name?" I didn't know. Turned out that wasn't all he knew. He knew my sister's name as well. Pretty soon, neither my sister or I were allowed to answer the phone. He called several times a day, at first. Neither of us knew what he was saying. Then, one night, one of my brothers told us that he was telling my parents that he was going to hurt me, and later my sister. Things got complicated after that. My dad called the police, but as this was before there were stalking laws, there was not a lot they could do. They told my parents to call back if he tried anything. My dad then called a friend of his from back in the day who happened to be a cop. For the next month, my dad's friend escorted me to and from school. Suddenly, life as I knew it came screeching to a halt. I couldn't walk to school alone. I couldn't play outside. I couldn't walk to the Super America, sort of a 7-Eleven for those who don't know. When access to me was completely denied, things escalated. It was around this time he began threatening my sister as well. Then one afternoon, my sister, two of my brothers, my mom and I were in the kitchen. One of my brothers saw a glimpse of someone in the garage. They'd seen him too. Dr. Ramsey came bolting out of the garage, my brothers chasing after him. They ran all the way to Cherokee Park, where he lost them in the trees. My parents called the police again, but nothing came of it. The only information they had was a description and a name that was most certainly fake. A couple weeks later, we woke up to find our dog hanging from the side porch. She was a gorgeous saddleback German Shepherd, born the same day I was. We were all devastated, but there was no evidence it was him, and it was ruled an accident, but none of us believed that. His phone calls became more informative in the meantime. He would talk about who was home and who wasn't. If my brother would say my dad was home, he would tell him who was really in the house. He would also talk about the house itself, about the window in the kitchen he could easily open with a knife from the outside, even when it was locked. About the French doors that were connected in the living room to the side porch, and how the lock could be finagled from the outside if you jiggled it right. That night my dad put in some carpenter nails at the bottom of the French doors until he could get a new lock ordered. My parents had to go to a company event at my dad's work. My older brothers were at a St. West roller skating rink. My sister was on the phone with her best friend. My little brother was on the floor asleep. I was watching Devo on the midnight special with Wolfman Jack. It was late. Suddenly, the top of the French door swung inwards, and in a few milliseconds before the nails in the bottom caused them to snap back, I could see his silhouette. My sister whipped the phone at the television, and we ran up the stairs. About halfway up, we realized our little brother was still asleep on the living room floor. As quietly as we could, we stepped back downstairs to get him. We went into our bedrooms and did not turn on the lights. This way we could see outside. We watched out the window for a while, and when we didn't find him, we crept down the hall to our brother's room to look. We looked down and could see someone standing at the back door. He knocked loudly. "What do you want?" my sister asked out the window. He stepped back and said, "Is this the Mercy residence? I have a pizza delivery. Can you come to the door?" She scoffed at him, declaring she was not stupid. She could see he didn't have a pizza, and she was calling the cops. He then left. A short while later, my brothers returned home. We told them what happened, and they walked around the yard, watching for him. They came back in, and things settled down. By now, we've pretty much given up calling the cops, because it never helped us, so we just went back in, each of us carrying a knife from the kitchen. Eventually, one of my brothers went back into the kitchen to get a bowl of cereal for a snack. You know that sensation you get when you can just feel someone watching you? Yeah, he had that in spades. He kept looking around the kitchen, through the doorway, into the dining room, at the window. He didn't see anything, but he could still feel eyes on him, so he went closer to the door to try to see better. The kitchen lights were reflecting off the windows of the doors, so he still couldn't see anything. He stepped closer, then closer again, until he was right up against the door. Then he cupped his hands on either side of his head so he could see. There on the other side of the window pane was Dr. Ramsey, smiling back at him. He turned to yell to my older brother, and when he looked back, he was gone. They went outside again looking for him, but didn't see him. The next night, we were on the table playing Crazy Eights, and my brother was restless. My sister asked what's wrong, and he said he always felt like any minute now there would be a boom, boom, boom on the door or window. Almost immediately after he finished that sentence, boom, boom, boom on the window right behind him. In the chaos, the two eldest ran out, but he was already gone. A couple weeks later, I was at school, and we were outside on the playground during recess. I was swinging upside down when I saw a now familiar blue Ford Galaxy cruising by, moving slowly. There he was, smiling and waving. He called my name, and I ran to the teacher and told her. The school had been informed all about him, and she took me inside right away and called my mom. That same day, my mom had gotten a call from the school office asking her to verify that my dad was picking me up, and he called to say he was on his way. He wasn't. Not long after that, I woke up one night thirsty. I went down to the kitchen for a drink, and there, sitting alone in the dark, was my dad. Dr. Ramsey tried something. He was tired of his children being terrorized. He was tired of being afraid every time he left for work or something would happen to us while he was gone. I sat with him for a time, watching, before he sent me back up to bed. These events and many more took place over a period of around 18 months. Then as suddenly as it began, it was over. He had vanished from our lives. The phone calls, the drive-bys with the creepy waves, everything. For a long time during and after Dr. Ramsey days, I would have a reoccurring nightmare in which I would wake up to find him standing over me as I slept. It took a long time before I felt like a kid again. I found out years later that when he was calling, Dr. Ramsey would tell my parents that he was going to rape and kill me, and later my sister, and there was nothing they could do about it. I don't know what happened to him when he disappeared. I don't know if he was in a car wreck, locked in prison, in a coma, but sometimes I wonder if the wait ended for my dad when he was sitting in that darkened kitchen one night. I don't know. I'm not sure I want to. Hello, this is Bad Vibes. I'm sorry if at any point of this video I sounded like shit. I am currently sick as a dick, and this one was a tough one. My throat is killing me right now. But I promised you a video on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I had to. Hopefully I'll be able to record the video for Wednesday, tomorrow night. This is probably one of my favorite stories I've ever read. I've heard other narrators narrate it, and it's just amazing. So I definitely wanted to do it once I created a channel. So hope you liked it. If you liked it and you're not subbed already, please sub. Please hit that like button. Please share. Please tell everyone about this. Tell your mom, your sister, your grandkids, your pastor. Tell everybody. Tell the cops. Just call them up. Just tell the cops that, this story was so good. They have to listen to it. Create an account. Sub to Bad Vibes. He needs the help. He needs more subs. He's not doing that great. Just tell them. If they don't listen to you, just kick them in the groin and run. Run fast. Don't let them catch you. Always look behind you. And never, ever open a hot bag of popcorn right up to your face. It is painful. My friend told me. My friend's an idiot, and so am I. Peace, guys. Till next time.